Yes, sir. What's happening? It's over. It meaning our season. It meaning the reason for this season. For me starting videos. And it was a great one. We will be back next season with a motherfucking vengeance. Believe that. I'm kind of at a loss for words right now. Which doesn't happen a lot, believe me. Which is the reason why I do these videos. So, but my son's disappointed, devastated, just like me. Um, Congratulations to the whole team, every 49er that suited up, practice, squad, to all the first stringers, all the coaches. Congratulations to you too. We may lose a couple of you over this season, to be honest with you. Mike McDaniel possibly at the head of that, even though the offense was non-existent today, which brings me to my initial thoughts on the reason why we lost this game. And that doesn't go to anybody wearing a uniform, to be honest. I put this on both or all three, I guess you could say, coaches. Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, and D'Amico Ryans. Going backwards, starting with the defense, D'Amico Ryans playing off man or off zone coverage the entire game, starting 6-7 yards off the wide receivers, allowing Matthew Stafford to throw the ball 48 times for 350 yards, just up and down, dinking and dunking on the field, bending and not breaking. That's not how you play defense. Not in the NFC Championship game. Blitzing on the last, desperate plays of the end of the fourth quarter instead of bringing real pressure when we clearly weren't getting any with our defensive line. Which I have no idea where that was at all day. But when he didn't have to hold the ball a lot because they were just going to keep running comeback routes nonstop for 6 yards, averaging about 5 yards a play all day long because we're playing soft coverage. What the fuck was that? And not adjusting to that just in the second quarter. Fuck after halftime. In the second quarter, you should have adjusted to that and started playing more press man as opposed to playing 6 yards off of their receivers, off of Odell and fucking Cooper, and allowing the two of them to rack up 300 yards worth of receiving yards between just the two of them down there. No, that it just off not anything deep, but consistent 8-yard catches. And they did that all day until they got into a position to score points on us. And then in turn, the offense, we definitely can't run an offense like that because we don't have a quarterback that's like that. And we'll get to that in a second. But our running game was non-existent, starting with the calls because it wasn't a true running game from the start. Since Samuel started in the backfield as a running back one to start this game. I don't know why. Again, probably more examples of Kyle Shanahan being in his own head. Um, and then, he and Mike McDaniel are calling plays that they really weren't calling all year. My son made a reference to the fact that they were consistently drilling the ball up the middle to try to set up the toss, and they were, and it didn't work. But outside of that, the, they just, I guess, called plays to get down the field eventually throughout the game from the past game, and they really had to try to do a lot of that. But when they started with the run, the calls weren't good, and Kyle was using Deebo Samuel as the running back as opposed to trying to use Elijah Mitchell, who was way more of a factor in the pass game today than he was in the run game. So Mike McDaniel may be gone from this team at this time next year, or even well before this time next year. And D'Amico Ryans, while he's had an outstanding year, and shout out to him, in-game adjustments and maybe trusting his personnel. I think there's some areas where he still needs to grow as a coach. And Kyle Shanahan, I have no idea what you were calling today, what was going on with you, why you let Sean McVay from up under your thumb and your foot, but you did. And you got 6 months minimum to think about it. Last but not least, this may have been and should have been the last game for number 10, Jimmy Garoppolo, in the 49ers uniform. Thank you, Jimmy, for everything you've done for the Niners since you've been here, for leading the way you have, what you've been able to show Trey Lance this year too. You had a good season, and you played well today. You played like you played your best ball until the end, but uh, the high passes and late passes and inability to get to all parts of the field, I'm not going to miss. I will miss the team. Stay tuned for more videos. Myself, my sons, like the video, subscribe to the channel, dislike the video. I don't know why you would, but I always say it. Leave a comment, but interact and tell me how things are, man. What are your thoughts on just the entire season and why we came up short today? Nani Gang Don't Bang, faithful forever, 24/7. Shout out to everybody, all the fans that have watched me this season of the 49ers and friends and folks of mine. I appreciate you. Y'all be safe.